All right, good evening, everyone. This is the Bowman podcast coming at you from where are we? Howard, Ohio?
Yeah, Howard.
Howard, Ohio.
City.
Big city life here. We got Troy Forrester. Say
How's
hi to
everybody
everyone.
doing?
We got Josh from Triple
How you
Point.
guys doing?
We got Cedric. over
Hello.
there. He's the only one of the Bowman that couldn't be with us today. We're sad he
Yeah.
couldn't be here, but you're traveling, so welcome.
Yeah. Maybe I'll have to when I'm up there for Christmas time. Maybe we can get together and three of us can get together and do something.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
I'll be out there
Yeah.
for like 7 days, I think. So
Absolutely. Well, that's great. How far is the property from here?
an hour and a half, maybe. Yeah. Like West Jefferson, like London area.
Yeah.
It's like 30 minutes southwest of Columbus.
Okay.
Oh, that's not bad.
Like we got like Columbus isn't that far of a drive for like my favorite thing to do is actually I think it's in Columbus. I really don't know, but it's Ohio things. But Der Dutchman is like my favorite restaurant to go to.
Der
whenever I go out
Dutchman.
there.
Oh yeah, that's like right by this place. That's right by our house.
Der
Yeah.
Dutchman?
Like Der Dutchman's probably maybe half an hour from here.
There's probably
Oh, dude, like that's like a religious thing. Like going to Der Dutchman is like I've already talked to our parents. It's like we have to go to Der Dutchman whenever we come out there. Like it's my favorite thing to do.
Yeah.
What kind of food is it?
It's like like home style, like
Yeah.
Amish kind of food, right? Like
Amish
it's like
buffet,
Amish kind
yeah.
of food.
Fried chicken.
Yeah,
Really?
Their desserts are where it's at. Get the pies.
their
Got
peanut
lots of
butter
pies.
pie. Their peanut butter pie is where it's at.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Good
Yep.
stuff.
Awesome. Well, Cedric, let's talk a little bit about where the hell have you been, man? I mean, you've
Man.
missed 2 podcasts. You've been on the road. Like,
Yeah,
what's the deal?
It feels like, it's been a whirlwind. I haven't been home in 2 or 3 weeks. I think I haven't been home. I was up in northern Missouri for a week or a little over a week, chasing whitetails up there. And it was awesome. It was awesome hunting. They're starting to lay down all the big deer now that I'm gone. And
Yeah, that's the way it goes.
yeah, but it was fun. Passed on a lot of good young deer. It's usually it's kind of been the story of like my hunting season so far. It seems is a lot of great young deer, nothing big and mature, but had a lot of fun. Had a lot of great people in camp. Did that for like I said, a week or a little over, and just couldn't get it done. Just didn't have anything come in front of me that kind of fit what we were looking for, so to say. I did have a coyote come about 30 yards like night one, but just didn't pull the trigger. But yeah, so then did that, and then had to come back home for work for like 2 days. Did that, and then Josie and I loaded up the truck and headed south down to Texas. We thankfully have a friend that her dad has a giant lease down around like Lubbock, Texas, and it's like 15,000 acres. I mean, it's like it's a part of a 425,000 acre piece that they essentially and only one lady owns it. And then she leases it to farmers, like cattle farmers, who then sublease it to hunters. So we went down to Texas, and the name of the game was cull bucks, right? Like we went down there just looking to shoot some cull bucks. And the buck that we were kind of after night one was just a giant, probably the biggest 5-point I've ever seen in my life. You know what I mean? Probably 22 inches inside spread, good mass, probably a 5 or 6 year old deer. Like I'd be happy to shoot him, any day of the week. So he comes in night one, and sadly we just don't get a shot off on him. We get in the blind, so we rush into camp. We get into camp at like 3 a.m. We get a quick little nap in, and get out to the blind early that night or that next night. And we get in there, and sadly there's no chairs or anything in there, so we're having to sit on our knees and all that stuff, which is fine. And then Josie and I kind of get to looking around, and there's like in every corner of this blind there's like 10 yellow jackets.
Oh, Jesus.
And we just look at each other and we're like, oh my God, like, what do you do? Right. And
I'm out.
But thankfully, the one weekend that we got to get down to Texas was like the one cold snap that hit. And it was like 45, 50, 45, you know what I mean? All weekend long. So thankfully those yellow jackets just kind of were hunkered down and didn't bother us. But so we didn't get it done on night one, but our shooter came in, but we didn't get it done. And then morning one, day 2, we get in there, get settled in, breaks daylight, and a buck comes in same way that our shooter came in the night previous. And I look at Josie and I tell her, I'm like, our buck's coming in. And, I'm getting all jacked up and everything. And I get to looking at him and I'm like, that's not our buck. Like, that's a bigger buck. And it's a big old 8-point, comes in, hops the fence, kind of gets into the feeder, and good giant brow tines, big old 2s, and just had me fired up. And I knew 8s were cull bucks down there, especially mature 8s, but I'm still trying to text the landowner, and I'm like just making sure it's okay.
Yeah.
Like, is it okay if I shoot this buck, But yeah, like I was telling you guys kind of pre-podcast, he was behind and for anybody that hasn't hunted in Texas, you can bait in Texas. They feed corn pellets and they feed protein pellets, and you can do all these things on private land. And so that's what they have going on. They've got feeder, like I said, it's 15,000 acres, right? And they're trying to manage it the best they can. So, but they also have a big hog problem down there. So they've got cattle panels all around their feeders where the protein and corn pellets, go off. And so he hops the fence and is behind that at 27 yards. And so I'm looking at Josie and, she's behind the camera filming and everything. And I'm looking at her and I'm like, I don't want to shoot him behind that panel. Like, that's sketchy, knowing my luck, I'm going to hit the one cross panel and just, like the Clovis can do a lot of things, but I just don't know, you know what I mean? If it's, but yeah. So we actually, like I said, watched him for like 5 or 10 minutes. And then my heart sunk because, he turns and he goes to leave, hops the backside of the fence. And he's at like 45, 50 yards. I'm just like, gosh, dang it. Like, we've still got plenty of time, but that I really wanted to kill that deer. And especially like he looked, you know what I mean? And I think you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. He looked and like his frame was just like, and you're just like, oh my gosh, like that deer needs to be dead. So thankfully a 2-year-old 8-point had come in. So he flipped a 180, came back into the feeder, but still just wouldn't hop the fence and get in the front of that cattle panel. But the 2-year-old was like, he's at like 15 yards and it's like, I think 3-mile-an-hour wind. So like you could hear a gnat fart, you know what I mean? Like it's like it's dead quiet. So finally I told Josie, like, we're going to kill this deer. So I try to draw back. And as I do, like that very first pullback, it's like, and get it pulled back. And that little 2-year-old snaps his head and he's looking and that other buck, he's just feeding along and he's quartering away. And I'm waiting for him just to take that front shoulder and just kind of put his front leg forward, and he does. And I just, put that pin right where it needs to be, just back just a smidge. And the rest was history. I'm shooting that stand Onyx, that click, and just, it's had my confidence at like an all-time high, and like with my shot process and everything. And so I just followed my shot process. It broke clean. Arrow hit exactly where it needed it to. But it's crazy. Like when you slow it down, I mean, we're at 27 yards and I'm shooting 70 pounds and that prime's hammering, right? Like we're all shooting them like they're fast hitting bows. I mean, and what that deer was able to do, which granted he's feeding, right? Like, and they always say it's not smart to really try to shoot a deer when he's feeding, because like essentially they use their head as like a catapult to kind of bring their bodies down, but it's the only shot I had, right? And so he does, right? Because he's already quartering away a little bit, and he snaps that head up and drops and goes to turn. I need to try to make like a dot of like where my arrow would have hit and then like where he was. So like I hit a little high. I mean, I still double lunged him and everything like that, but just wasn't quite what I wanted it to be. But just because, I mean, he dropped. I mean, it was insane. It was absolutely insane. But yeah, I mean, the Clovis did its work. I mean, like I said, I think I told you guys it broke a rib on entry. I think it kind of ricocheted a little bit, and with him dropping and everything too, went up into the offside shoulder and got lodged in like a rib or something else on that side. And he ran like 75 yards, piled up. Blood trail was great once we got on it. I mean, it's like following the yellow brick road, basically. Yeah. And he was, like I said, 75 yards, just dead. And yeah, it was awesome. It was a hunt I'll never forget for sure.
Awesome. Congratulations.
Yeah. And I mean, there's just so many firsts, right? Like, it's my first Veterans Day buck, shout out to Troy, happy Veterans Day on that day.
Awesome.
So yeah. So first Veterans Day buck, first Texas buck. It's the first buck I've ever killed on Josie's birthday. It's the first buck I've killed with the Clovis. First buck I killed with that prime. Like, it was just a lot of first, and it was just, man, it still gets me jazzed up thinking about it.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I'm glad it worked out. Those are the memories right there, that smile.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great one. What's been the luck up there in Missouri? Anything?
Dude, it's been rough. That's why I had to go out of state to kill something. I actually hunted tonight, and there's a property over here by my house. And whenever I'm running behind, like, that's just kind of like my little quick spot I can get to. And tonight we went in, saw about 20 turkeys, the same old like 20 turkeys that I always see. And we had like 1-year-old like spike come in like right at dark. And I was just like, are you kidding me? Like, I know there's better deer than that over here, but it's rifle season here. It'll be rifle season until the 21st. So, all the fireworks and kabangs are going off right now. I mean, it's not been bad. I mean, I've had opportunities early season to shoot deer, but I elected to pass because, I was, chasing the bigger deer. And obviously, that didn't pan out. That deer got killed. So now it's just kind of whatever trips my trigger, whatever gets me excited, I'm willing to shoot. So we'll see. We leave for Ohio next month, like I said, around Christmas time. So I'm just going to go hard until then, and then hopefully maybe shoot a deer out there. My in-laws have got some slammers out there. So
Yeah, we saw that video before you left that you sent.
yeah.
That was pretty crazy.
Seems like you need to hunt from the front of a combine when you
Yeah, no lie.
Yeah, well, we had Josh's wife, Emily, slammed a huge one the other night here in Ohio,
Crazy.
right before I came. It was nice.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Yeah. I had hunted that. I mean, Cedric, I know, you feel the same way, and Troy knows, we go through during the season, and Paul the same way, but I gave up on that buck. I hunted that buck solid since we knew he existed, right, Troy? Like a month, probably a little less than a month or something like that, but didn't see him once. And then the one night I went to hunt the other farm, he shows up and daylights and with shooting light. And I just about kicked myself in the pants over and over again for not doing that and staying here. But, when you're not seeing it here, you're going to go somewhere else and hunt, right? And so I ended up taking an 11 point, which probably need another year to grow, just because he wasn't as huge. He wasn't a big deer as I thought he was. And I pulled the trigger on him at the other farm. And so I was tagged out. And, at that point, usually my wife hunts, and we had a phenomenal hunt that night. It was insane. It was like one of those things where, how like Troy and I've been talking about the whole season, like everything we want to happen or expect to happen is not what happens, Well, with that hunt with her that night, everything happened that you want to happen. It never happens.
Yeah.
Just the way it is,
That's
70,
so awesome.
70 yards, Raven R500. No, no one wants to shoot that far, but given the circumstances and the size of the deer, and we had not seen him, and he daylights one time, I said, take him as soon as you can, because we're not going to see that deer anymore. And she did. She put it right through both shoulders. He went about 80 yards piled up, and it was it. Blood everywhere. Huge monster. Just unbelievable deer. Triple drop time. Crazy.
That's insane. That's so insane.
Yeah, it's nutty. But he broke off in the past 2 weeks. 2 weeks ago, I had full camera of him with all the drop tines intact. Since then, he's been fighting, and he broke off both drop tines on the side. So I think we might actually have a taxidermist try to recreate those, just because it's pretty special.
Oh yeah, 100. And it's not hard, right? Like,
yeah,
my dad.
To me, it's not really about a score situation of having the thing have a higher score. It's really about just kind of almost honoring and respecting the animal and how cool he was,
Yeah, 100. Not too often you run into a buck like that.
No, it was something. And and the other thing is, like, Troy and I, we first got him on camera. The first morning I saw him, I was laying in bed, I think, when my cell cam sent me pictures of him, and I just like lost my mind. I'm like, what? What is this thing? So, and then, then once you harvest the deer, and then you start finding out a lot of people in the area were hunting the deer, what I'm saying? Just didn't go out and talk about it,
Yeah, it's crazy, man. When you start thinking about how far these deer travel, and you'd like to think like, oh, that's my deer, or like that's, but it's not. I mean, especially this time of year, I mean, those deer are running miles, man. I mean, miles looking for love. So
yeah. Yes, sir. Yeah, I read a Field and Stream article not too long ago or something, and I'm not going to quote the exact number, but it was like, if the normal range is, say, 1 mile, during this time of year, they'll go up to 10 miles. You know what I mean? It was exponentially bigger.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I mean, you just got to get lucky. And you said it, 100% right. Like, you think it's your deer, you see them all the time, you're watching them, like, you're paying attention to them, and you think nobody else knows about them. And then, like your scenario, everybody knew about them, and they just didn't want anyone else to know about them.
You got a hold of me saying you guys shot it, and I wasn't very long. I mean, 30, 40 minutes, and I was here, and it was like, I pulled up, it was like a crime scene. There was like vehicles stopped. I mean, I was like, oh, I hope nobody's, like, in my mind, I was thinking, oh, I hope nobody's upset that they shot that buck, because there's a couple trucks parked already. I'm like, what am I walking into? I got my mom's here visiting. I'm like, stay in the car, Mom, lock the door.
That's
funny.
All the neighbors here, like, everybody's really, really super cool. So, you don't want to have to run into a situation that's hard when that's, that happens. And luckily he ran across a road. I mean, he left, I was like trying to figure out where he went across the road at, and I like just followed the blood, because it was like a solid blood trail right across the road. It looked like a crime scene. And luckily the neighbors were all really good about it. So they were actually super happy. And of course I had to harass her, which I'll keep harassing her about probably the rest of our life, about her shooting this deer. But it's actually a pretty awesome memory for us. And he died 50 yards from where I shot a big one 3 years ago. So the genetics between the deer, you can tell 100% genetics is there.
That's awesome.
It was fun.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I was joking with Josh and Emily and saying, they're trying to, maybe potentially be outfitters up here, but they're really doing their clients wrong. I mean, they have people come from all over. Josh shoots a buck the day that they're here.
Yeah.
I come up, Emily shoots a buck the day before I get here. That doesn't really look good.
It's just disrespectful.
It doesn't.
It's disrespectful. Yeah, I wouldn't pay us a dime.
That's hilarious. That is funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I've had the luxury of having a little bit of free time and, to come up and spend some time up here and spend some time in the woods. We saw this morning. Was it this morning?
You saw a big.
That was this morning. Yeah, I saw a nice 10-pointer across the road. Was right about to run across, and then a big truck came and swooped down the road, and the deer paralleled the truck and got scared, and then crossed up the road about a half mile. Oh, I was so mad. Like he was
that
150
sucks.
yards away, and I didn't even need binoculars. I was like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, he's good. Yeah, I got to spend some time with Troy and his family today. Went over to his house, and we shot the new RVX that launched today. Got to send that down range a little bit. Troy's still smiling from it.
Yeah, that thing is sweet. I don't know if you're shooting it yet. I'm sure you probably,
No,
maybe.
it's been the joke between Casey and Brian and I said, I'm going to have to learn to shoot right-handed for next year so I can actually get one on freaking time. So I think that's the plan. I'm hopefully going to get mine in like 2 weeks or so probably, and then we'll see. I mean, being a lefty just sucks, man. So next year from now till next year I'll probably learn how to shoot right-handed, at least with like 60 pounds or something, like
Yeah.
nothing crazy, just something to get me by until I can get a lefty in my hand.
Yeah.
Just fast, smooth, quiet, and light. I mean, everything you like about the one you're shooting now, and then just make it a little bit lighter.
Yeah.
We were, because I'm shooting that RevX too.
Yeah.
And then Paul had that new bow there, and we were shooting at 20, 30, 40, and then I'm still trying to dial in my sight tapes on my bow. So he was, obviously sighting in the new bow. So we stepped it out to 50 and 60. I mean, it's like a laser, even at 60 yards, Paul's shooting, and it's just like you're pulling a tight string out to the target. It's pretty sweet.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. And I love the fact that they put the pick mount on there.
Yeah.
That was nice. I like that.
Yeah, actually, I've been a little on the fence about them for a while, just because maybe I was just been choosing the wrong sights and putting that weight forward. But how balanced that RevX is! I got the CBE Trek 3, the new one, and I put the Picatinny mount bracket on it and put it in the front, and it's light, stable.
One thing I absolutely love about it that you can't do, I guess you can, but it's never the same, is you could take that off, like with it having a pick mount on there, is you could take it off, like take your side off for travel, and you're going to put it back on and it's going to be a 0, right? Like you don't have to worry about that, opposed to like a dovetail. I mean, you can try to get it as close as you can, but I feel like there's always just a little room where it might, except for that, maybe the bridge lock. I don't know, but with that pick mount, I mean, it's going back in the exact same spot. So that part I like.
Yeah, no, it's definitely nice. They got the integrate mount in the back, just fantastic. And then that cable guard where all the adjustments used to be so close to that cable guard there and touching it. Now it's angled, so you have more room. But that little bit of change in the riser and the material and everything, it's noticeably lighter than the RevX.
I mean, I had my that RevX 2, my hunting bow set up. You hold it, you had the new 34 inch, and it was lighter, and it was fully set up for hunting too. So side by side, I mean, and I don't have a lot on mine, but just holding them, you can tell a difference.
Yeah, that's awesome. That is awesome.
Yeah, so it's definitely worth it. Shooting 72 pounds, shooting flat, out to 60, which is what I like to see. No arc, sinking them in the target as well, which is nice. So the gray is such a cool color.
Yeah,
it's such a cool. You want to grab it real quick? Yeah, over there. Can you reach it?
That's what mine's supposed to be. So fingers crossed. You know what I would like to see them do is the option to have different colored strings. Yeah, it's just nasty.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah, that's nasty. That's awesome.
And then that's the pick mount on the front.
Yeah, I love it.
There.
Yeah,
the offset cable guard here, and then you got the
I love that a lot
on the back.
Mm-hmm.
And then they got rid of the Sherpa system, so no more Sherpa system up in here. For the quiver, you got to go with the back or a side mount, but the Prime has, with that tight spot quiver in the back, they have that attachment. Same cams, same limbs, same strings. So if you have a RevX and you want to change your strings out that you just bought, you can change your strings out with it. Same great nano grip on it. Just a sweet looking bow. So
it's awesome.
Well, and especially if you're already shooting one and then you pick this up, it's just everything's just better. Yeah, like when I was shooting it today, it's just smoother, faster, lighter. It's just sweet.
Yeah, we were joking, like, how much better could they make it? Because the RevX was just a really sweet bow, really sweet shooting, nice, dead in the hand, no vibration. But this is just even better. Like the RevX has no vibration. This really has no vibration. Like it's just dead ass. And I mean, maybe for me, because my RevX is 82 pounds and this is 72. So, you know, there's a big difference there, but super smooth. I mean, we all shot it today and just love it. You know, I've had it for about a week and a half now, just kind of playing through the setup and what I wanted to do, but I just got to get bars for it. Other than that, she's ready to roll.
Heck yeah.
So,
yeah, no, it's a sweet looking bow.
Yeah. And they got that cool new color coming out that you can get the G fade, the old school where it used to be black into blue. And now you could do any camo pattern. That's pretty legit as well. So that's going to be a pretty sweet looking color combination. But yeah, Prime launched today. Just really, really nice bow overall. So if you're looking for one, this is what you got to do. It's right there.
Yeah, it's super sweet. They keep killing it. They keep doing an awesome job. Like I said, the one thing I would like to see is I'd like to see like you being able to put like a different color string or something on there. So just because it's a big, you know, customized thing.
Yeah.
That's the right word. Customization.
You know, Prime has really been into that whole much. They've been about shootability. That's their big thing, accuracy and shootability. And, you know, with their warranty, strings for life. So, you know, you start getting into custom strings. Can you do string for life? Then they're only like, you know, the normal black or black and gray. Do people get upset? Like, I'm sure down the road they'll have that opportunity to do it.
Yeah.
But I'll take the shootability and the center grip and the accuracy over a green or orange string. You know, you can get them anywhere, but you really don't need to. I mean, if you listen to our last episode, we had Brent from A3 on. You know, he said Prime's some of the best stock strings out there. So you know, you don't need to change them. Then why? You know, why not? So, but there you have it. Brand new, just launched today. You're seeing it first and foremost here on the Bowmen. So Cedric, we beat you.
Hey, 100%, 100%. No, that's awesome. I'm super glad that
you got to look at. Also, I got a RVX2 in the shop. It's flat black like yours, and it's got the Morel Scar limbs on it. Oh, dude, it is pretty sick. It was a hard choice.
That's tough.
Which one I wanted to set up, but they have another bow that came out today that no one has really heard about. They haven't said much about it, but it's the Ronan. Basically, it's RevX limbs, RevX cams, strings. Basically, the RevX platform, just with I don't want to say a lower grade aluminum riser, a little heavier bow, a little different aluminum in the riser, and they're calling it the best hunting bow under $1,000. So it's $949 or $959, $999, something like that. It's a 4-inch platform, 34-inch platform called the Ronan, and it's a little bit heavier. Still center grip technology, accuracy's there, stability's there. Just, you know, they changed the riser on it a little bit just to get people who don't want to or can't spend $1,200, $1,300, $1,400 on a bow. Now they have a little bit of, you know, I don't want to say an entry level because it's way above an entry level bow. But maybe a little bit more affordable hunting bow for people out there. But take a look if you haven't checked out Prime. I mean, now's the time to do it because, you know, they went up against Matthews on their launch date, and that's a pretty big feat to do. So, you know. Not gonna lie, though, I think I might have to shoot that lift and check it out.
That's pretty nice. That thing's pretty nice. I mean, they've
checked a lot of the boxes that I didn't like about Matthews. They filled them with this bow coming up, so we'll have to check it out. So Josh will buy us one, and
I'm interested to see what's going to happen with that grip technology that they have.
Oh, the shot sense.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you saw it, but they have in the grip here on the new Matthews is a little, I don't want to say computer chip, but a little sensor they put in there. And it's called Shot Sense. And you push it before you shoot, and it tracks on an app in your phone where your shot, how your bow is when you shoot. So like, are you here? Or like, are you going like this when you shoot? Or did you go like that? Or did you go like this? So, you know, pretty interesting technology, in my opinion, just something $500 that can break and replace. But, you know, hey, I don't know. I haven't seen it, so I can't knock it if I haven't tried it, right?
Yeah. Being able to have the QAD on there, I'm super pumped about that. Super pumped. I love a QAD wrist.
Yeah, last year or with the RevX, we went with the Epsilon, and it's a little heavier, you know, limb driven, but I've always been a QAD, you know, cable driven fan. So lighter, you know, still great accuracy, great products made in the US. So
yeah, that's what I got on mine. I like those.
Yeah, he's got it on his, but you gotta use that adapter, the QAD integrate adapter, so it's still bolted through the burger hole, but then the QAD in the back wrapped it around. So it's just an added $15 to spend to use it, and then, you know, it's added weight as well to it. So, but yeah, loving the new platform, loving the new color. The gray is sick. the fit and finish is still just as good, as Prime and the RevX. I mean, it looks like it's the aluminum was made this color. Like,
Yeah.
their fit and finish is just something else.
I think it's the best. I would argue that's the best out of all the bows, out of all of them in the industry. I think you feel like it is the bow, like the color is the bow. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it takes a lot for anything to scratch it or whatnot. And I mean, we've hunted all over the world with the RevX this year, and mine doesn't even have a scratch on it. And it's it's not babied. It's spot and stalk, laid in the ground, hung in the stand, thrown in the mud, and it's been everywhere. And
I'm not gonna lie, I accidentally dropped like one of my steps fell out of my bag and hit mine, and it didn't chip it. I was scared to death to come down because I'd already lowered it from the ground. I was climbing down, and I climbed with the wild edge step. So it's a steel step that like wraps around the tree with a rope. And I had it in my bag, and I was getting the next one off, and it just happened to be just perfect. The last one I set in my bag fell out, and I just hear a tink, and I'm like, oh my gosh. Like in my mind, my heart just dropped. Like
Paul's gonna kill me.
Chipped this bow. Yeah. Well, and I was afraid I hit the sight or broke something, And I get down, and there's not, and I mean, you saw it today. There's no damage or anything on it, so it's great.
The truth always comes out later at night over a beer. Yeah.
Yeah. No, they hold up great.
Truth always comes out later at night over a beer.
Yeah. No, they hold up great.
I mean, I feel like they are tools, right? Like, I mean, they are pretty and they are, nice and they are expensive. But I mean, at the end of the day, it is a tool for us to try to, you know what I mean? Like, we try to baby them, and obviously we try to take care of them the best we can. But at the end of the day, like you said, I mean, you're taking these things in different places into rugged terrain. Things happen. Heck, people drop bows out of tree stands. You know what I mean? Or like things happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, Prime, I mean, like I said, their fit and finish is second to literally none. So
it's fantastic. So whatever they're doing, keep it up. Just overall, just an amazing product here from Prime and the team over there. So, thank you all for that and the opportunity to see these great things. But you're 100% right. Like, I baby things. I know Josh does. I mean, if you've seen his shop here, man, he can eat off the floor. Like, I feel
it's immaculate.
Yeah, it's pretty.
We can't show you because there's classified stuff all over the place.
Yeah.
yeah.
They get used and they get put in some harsh situations. I mean, when we were moose hunting, I mean, we were walking through crap that and just not even a scratch on it. You think at least like the limb pockets or the cam or something would get a scratch, and it's just.
I had that night we were tracking that cow moose that I hit a little high, and then I went through some stuff. I've never been through that tight of stuff in my life, and in a bog is wet, and I'm trying to keep the bow safe. I'm like, this is Paul's bow. I can't hit this bow, And then I'm pretty sure once I think Troy used it for a bit. We got back from Newfoundland for something to shoot a little bit.
Just shooting it at the house.
Still had blood on it.
Still had bear blood on it. I got bear blood on the limbs. I think I gave it to Troy. There's still bear blood on the bow, so it was a fun handoff.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been an interesting season so far. I mean, Troy tagged out. You tagged out pretty early on a nice 8 here in Ohio.
Yeah, we hunted like crazy early, and it was just one of those things. I had everything set up, and I hadn't had a shot at anything. I still haven't had a shot at a doe yet this season. And I was telling you guys earlier, I've logged 50 hours in a saddle this year. And just the way it's worked out, I had my cousin up here hunting with me, and the opportunities we had on does, he was with me. So he, obviously he was here hunting, visiting, everything else. So I'm like, no, I'm not. Like, you're shooting you have tags to fill, like fill those tags. But other than that, the buck I shot, I mean, it was a nice 8-point. It's, no giant, but still, just like everybody knows that hunts, I mean, it's a trophy to me. So it's like you go out there and you spend all that effort, all that time. And honestly, if it would have been a little 4-point or something, like a pencil spike, I might have let him go. But when I saw there was more than one up there, everything was going and he was coming where I'd have a good shot. Like, that's my biggest thing is, if I got an ethical shot and they give it to me, I'm probably going to take it. So
And
he
yourself,
came
and you were
down.
self-filming, weren't you?
Yeah, I self-filmed, and like I said,
Yeah.
I had everything set up, and I actually rattled, and I videotaped the rattling. I was rattling, and I just put my black rack down. It's kind of looking around, and I hear the leaves coming, and I peek around the tree, and there he was coming. I mean, he was probably 40, 50 yards when I first saw him. So of course I reach over, turn my cell phone on, turn the Tacticam on my bow, and I come to full draw as he's behind some leaves, and I was actually looking at my cell phone. I got a 4th arrow camera arm, looking at my cell phone. As soon as he got in the center frame, I stopped him, and then you have a couple seconds when they're trying to figure out what that noise was, and just leaned in and sank him. And he ran, in the video it looks farther, but he ran maybe 25, 30 yards in like an arch and piled up. I mean, he never left my side. I could see him laying there from the tree. So
That's
that
awesome.
Clovis just does wonders. I still have yet to have a pass through, but it's just my luck, my angles, the way I shoot. When I stopped him, he was quartering to me, and I was high in the tree, so it was a pretty steep angle shot. And then once I stopped him, I kind of, in the video, especially the unedited video, you can see when I stopped him and then I get in my sight, with my eye, I had to lean way down to get a better angle, or I was like shooting at its back. So luckily he hung out, and didn't take off. I had a couple seconds when they're trying to figure out what the heck that noise was. But yeah, and then my cousin, when he was up here, both his shots were nice broadside shots, and it just blew through them, and neither one of them left our side either. So
I couldn't believe the one doe that he shot. I mean, the deer runs around and like literally knocks a whole tree down. Like,
Yeah.
runs straight into a tree.
Yeah, we might have brought it up on the last podcast, but yeah, those were his first. So he's from Kansas, and he rifle hunts big mule deer all the time, so he's not new to hunting by any means, but these were his first archery hunts ever. So, I'm like, hey, it's different. You just got to experience it. It's such a different thing. And the joy, and like, we all know that you get that adrenaline drop, afterwards. And he's just like,
Oh yeah,
he shot this doe, and it was like, you would have thought he shot a 300-inch elk, like he's up there shaking in the tree. And I'm like,
yeah.
so he's hooked. But yeah, that doe, and he came to full draw, and she was behind 2 or 3 little trees, and he held his draw for at least a minute, and which he's new to archery and everything else. So that was a pretty big feat, like staying calm. But I'm filming her the whole time, and she starts walking, and I'm thinking, okay, like I'm waiting for him to stop her, like make a noise. No, she's mid
Sends it.
and he shot great right above her heart, just smoked her. And she did like a 15-yard run, dead run, and slams into a standing dead tree, and the whole tree comes down in the video. And I'm like, oh, what's going on? I turn around, and then I pan back to him, and he just got this huge smile on his face, trying to catch his breath. It was something, neither one of us will ever forget.
That's awesome. That's how it was when we were in Texas. Is I shot that buck, and first I didn't think my penetration was great, and so I was kind of freaking out over that. But then we kind of starts going away, and I'm just like, I'm shaking so bad, just because I was just so jacked up, and I think I told Josie, I was like, man, once we found him, I was like, man, like, I had a hold of him, and I was like, if you just don't love doing this, and this just doesn't get in your blood, there's just something wrong with you. It just makes me grin every time I freaking talk about it, because I mean, it's just a passion that we all have, and that we love sharing on this podcast. And yeah, man, it's awesome. It's so awesome.
Yeah, my cousin already booked his week next year, so he's coming back. There's no holding him back now.
It's been a heck of a season so far for everybody. I mean, Paul kicked it all off with a great heck of a freaking moose, and then Josh with his big old buck, and then Troy with his big old buck, and then I finally got on the board, and Bear, if I almost forgot about that. Yeah, freaking Bear. I mean, and yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, we've had a pretty good year so far, and what are we, halfway through it?
Yeah.
Halfway through the season. I still got some whitetails to kill, but I got my son one, which made me happy, and
yeah,
time for daddy to get one, and that's part of the reason of being here. But I saw 2 good ones today alone. One yesterday wouldn't come in, so it's been a great trip so far. We got one more day left, and see what tomorrow brings, and then it's back home to Virginia to try to kill some more out there. So y'all are more than welcome to come. Our season goes till January, and then I think it's does until March. So plenty of time to get stuff on the ground. Yeah, it's been a good one.
It's been a wild and weird season too. I mean, I couldn't anticipate a single thing that happened this season. From the beginning, Troy and I managed these farms here all summer, and mineral and feed and stands and blinds and everything else. And we hunted hard, and Paul, we talked to him all the time, and Cedric, same with you. And I think you go in with these expectations of what you want to do, and then there's a reality of what you're going to do every day, and it just changes. Like I think the season changes you as you go on. You find things you want to do, and then you find things that don't work, and you have to do differently.
Well, and we've talked about it a lot before too. I know all of us have experienced it just from the way we hunt. Like we can all get on Instagram or Facebook or whatever, or any, YouTube channel, see all these monsters shot and all these great things. But the reality of it is there's so much work that goes into that. Like those hunters go out and harvest those big bucks. That's amazing. That's awesome. They have their skill set, but there's a whole, hours upon hours, if not years put in to that person harvesting that animal. So then when you take the normal, I say normal, but everyday hunter like us, that goes out and hunts, like every animal is a trophy, because there's just so much involved in going, and so many things have to be right. It doesn't matter if you're shooting a little spike or a doe. I mean, some of the old does are the hardest dang animals to hunt because they're so smart, but it's like all those little things have to be just perfect to make it all line up. Your shot has to be right, the wind, everything. And it takes one factor to be wrong. So that's where, social media and everything else. I was actually talking to my brother about it today, because he had a friend in Kansas, which everybody knows is an amazing state to hunt whitetails, and had all these big bucks, and he's getting all discouraged. And I'm like, I've sat in a stand for 50 hours this year and had one shot. And I literally like one opportunity, and I took the one shot. Like, it's just part of hunting, we learn to hate it, like love it and hate it all at the same time, because it all makes up for it. When you finally connect and all those things fall into place, it makes up for it. But everybody has to understand the reality, of hunting. That's just what it is. Everything has to be perfect.
Yeah. And I think, man, thinking about when we started this whole thing, I think one of the first things we talked about on the podcast is like, what's a trophy to you is what, you know what I mean? Like, it's different to everybody, right? So like, to put it into perspective to anybody listening, that buck that I shot in Texas, like, I can't explain to you how excited and how happy I am shooting that deer. And that deer went 126 and 6/8, right? So not a giant, like by, I guess, the definition of the term, right? Like he makes Pope and Young, we'll see what he goes after he gets them 30 days or whatever of drying. But in a lot of people's definition, right? Like that's not a giant deer, right? He is a 3-year-old, maybe a 4-year-old, North Texas buck. But man, like you take the totality of the circumstances, like we were talking pre-podcast, it's Veterans Day. It's my wife's birthday. She's with me. We're out of state. She's behind the camera, and we've got this just beautiful Texas 8-point right in front of us, dude. And my hands are shaking. I was fired.
In the corner.
You got yellow jackets in the corner of the blinds, right? We're on this adventure together, and it's got me just fired up, and I'm excited. And like I said, you could have had a 180-inch deer out in front of me, and I would have been just the exact same, right? It's just a hunt that I'll never forget, and it's just awesome, right? So anybody out there listening, like, it doesn't have to be 160 or 180-inch giant to be proud of it, right? You shoot that deer and you're happy with it, and you get you fired up, man. Show that thing off old school, and show everybody and call everybody. I was trying to get a hold of you guys, and I'm trying to get a hold of my dad. I'm trying to get a hold of Josie's dad, and she's like, you're calling everybody. I was like, that's how you do it. Like, you shoot a big buck, you shoot a big buck, everybody knows about it, right? Or you shoot a nice buck, everybody knows about it. So be proud of what you shoot, man. I know I am.
I think the other thing that I was talking about this today with Paul, even, I think a big part of this is, and if you know, right? And all hunters know the hours put in. And I'm going to go back through all the stuff you guys talked about. Think about the energy and dedication you people put in. I'm talking to you, I say you people, I mean all of us, so the pro hunters, right? Yeah. We know the love of the sport. We know what sitting out there not seeing something feels like. And Troy and I know that, as well as anybody else is here, because we put a lot of time in. But I can tell you right now, as much as I had one of the most frustrating seasons I've ever had, getting busted by the target buck that I should have killed, and just not being able to control those variables. I did kill him, I got to see him, but I did everything right to kill him, just circumstantial. And now at the other end of this, I'll continue to harass my wife about shooting this deer because it's fun for me. But I want to tell everybody out there, just so you guys understand, man, I couldn't be more proud. Like, I know you guys feel the same way. I know Troy's out with his wife right now, and your wife hunts. I know your wife hunts, Cedric. So, to look at someone's picture of a deer and go, you know what, that's a horse of a deer, but you're only seeing the tip of the iceberg of the story, because I want people to understand, like, every deer I've ever shot has a story and a history. And to be honest, like, Emma and I had the best time in our lives trying to hunt this deer together. We kind of did it together, and she made the shot and she did everything right in the moment of the situation. But like, I feel kind of neat, like I was a part of it, because I got to like help try to get him to come in and, you know, put the estrus out and put the mineral out and hope he would stop by and watch the cameras, you know. And so it was kind of a collective effort in that respect, even though she made one of the most unbelievable shots. Doubt I could have made that shot, you know, with that crossbow. It's a long haul. But at the end of the day, when you look at those people's trophies, whether the size the deer is, you know, we all as hunters know there's a lot more of that story that you're not seeing. And that's the respect we have, I think, not just for the animal, because heck, I kind of have remorse that, you know, we're not going to see this deer behind our property anymore, you know, like he's gone. His life has ended, you know. But my wife and I have a little bit of remorse, like, man, we won't see this guy anymore, you know. But, you know, in the future, that always gives you the hope of, well, that there's a next one moving in. There's nothing coming. There's another one moving in. So just to let everybody out there, you know, we had a great time hunting this buck, and it was really difficult to do. But to be honest with everybody, I didn't think we'd see that deer. I didn't think we'd see it again at all. So we were fortunate, and we know that. But, you know, the love of the hunt is at the end of the day what all of us that we have, you know.
Yeah, there's got to be a little luck too.
Absolutely.
There's luck that's involved in that. I mean,
Absolutely.
after we were, you know, messaging back and forth last week and the week before, and I was like, that deer's gone. You're never gonna see that ever again. Like,
You're trying to get them mind trick. I'm like, stop looking for that deer because I'm coming.
I didn't even know I was coming at that point. But then who would have thought at 4:30, you know, bright as day, he stands up and you know, there he is. Like, it's just crazy how it works out sometimes.
Yeah,
but
I looked out and I saw him, but I saw like the back half of a deer. But at first, actually, because he was against some brush, it was, you know, the same color and brown. I almost just walked away. Like I didn't see anything. Like we were out back and in our property, and I look around and I see it, and I'm like, I don't think it's a deer at all. And then I look back again and I'm like, holy cow, that's a really big doe. And then he put his head up, you know, and I was like,
Yeah.
no, that's not a doe.
yeah.
We had a challenging hunt for him, but it was weird because the last seconds before she shot, you know, she was going to freehand it, and I didn't know what to do. Like I knew she needed a rest at that distance, but I didn't know what to do to move, you know. I was so scared that he was going to bust. So I kind of gently just picked the tripod up, reached around her body, and moved it kind of like in front of her. And it was like one of those one-offs, like this is either going to go real well or real bad. You know what I mean?
You didn't do the old bend over in front of her so she can use your butt crack.
I did.
I did do the beams.
Yeah.
Really have that be a buddy.
Yeah, but it was one of those hunts where like it was 90% luck, you know, 10% we put some stuff out for him to come in, but at the end of the day, things finally worked out. Sometimes it doesn't happen, you know.
Yeah, no, that's
Most
awesome.
times it doesn't happen. Most time you run around trying to find these things.
Yeah, everything happens for a reason, and you know, he's on the wall now, and you have the memories and the story to tell, and you know, that's what it's about. So hopefully there'll be more, you know, the rest of the season. And you know, I think that, you know, this is season number 1 for the Bowmen with all of us being together. And you know, one of the main reasons for, you know, me coming up here is obviously spend more time with you guys, and you know, face to face. We do a lot of it from afar, but just to build some more of those memories, because you know, the rest of this year and next year are gonna be even better. You know, after this podcast, you know, we'll have Cedric stay on the horn for a little bit, and we'll talk about some next year planning and what we want to do. And
they're gonna gang up and bully me.
We're gonna gang up and bully you, yeah. You know,
Hopefully your internet freezes up. We ain't got to worry.
Yeah.
You know, your panties out of a bunch and come up, you know, and join us, or maybe
Yes.
or something, you know, that could help.
Yeah.
I'm joking. But yeah, I mean, it's just been, I can't ask for a better year and everything that's going on. So, I mean, I guess we all could ask for something a little bit better. But in regards to, you know, we all started this just with, you know, we just had something to tell, you know, stories to tell. And hopefully everybody out there is enjoying what we're doing. And we've had some great guests on. We got more to come coming up the rest of the year. And, you know, hopefully we can continue that with more going on. You know, I know we got Troy was able to get Buzzard Goose saddles on with us. So we're going to be using them more the rest of the year and next year as well. So if you haven't checked them out, check them out. I was told I have to get into a saddle. I don't know. I gotta lose like 80 pounds before that happens. You know, we were going for the whole bone collector thing here, you know, and I get to be, you know, T-bone in the middle and just be the archery guru. But you know, I was told I gotta man up and you know, not do that. So okay,
That's funny.
That's been my bullying today.
Yeah.
Troy was chasing me up and down the hill. We were shooting at his house. He was like, "You gotta start somewhere."
Yeah. Yep.
So,
That's
We got
funny.
flat spots, but we had to shoot on an incline all day.
That's funny.
no, it's been pretty exciting. So, but we got a day or two left back here in Ohio to hunt. So hopefully we can get something done, and we'll see what happens. But what do you got? Anything?
I'm excited for the rest of the year. I mean, we, you know, like you said, we had some phenomenal hunts this year. We all have. I can't even, the last for me, the last year has been an absolute blur. And so I'm just excited to, at some point, get some of these, mounts up in the shop and get them back to kind of, because I haven't seen a lot of these things for a while. I harvested. And I just want to thank everyone out there for, using the broadhead, the manufacturer, and appreciating the Clovis and what we've done, and try to get, working hard for you every day and just do the best we can to perform. And I really appreciate this harvest picks. It means a lot to us when you guys send us harvest picks. So pretty cool, especially kids, like seeing a kid harvest their first deer with our broadhead means the world to us. Forget the big deer. I know that kid's feeling going through their head when they're harvesting that first animal, and and that's just awesome stuff for us. So
yeah, I just want to say thanks to anybody listening to this right now. Obviously, like I came onto this, I told all you guys this in the beginning. Like I just grew up hunting. Like put a shotgun in my hand, we'll go shoot upland game, put a rifle in my hand, we'll go shoot squirrels, deer, whatever it is, put a bow in my hand, I'll learn to shoot it. But by no means am I expert at any of it. So I've learned so much, in the last year with you guys, as far as like the technical side of bow hunting and learning about arrow weights and different, just about the bows themselves, how to, how you guys set them up. And so I feel like from my end, I'm more of, I can ask the question that the everyday person is going to ask because I probably don't know the right answer to it. You know what I mean? So I'm coming in as that side of things, and I love it. And I hope that anybody listening, can just relate to that and relate to all aspects of it, whether you're a seasoned hunter, and been doing this forever, and you can completely understand what some of the acronyms that Cedric throws out there are. I shake my head and say, yeah, I understand what he's talking about. Sometimes then I got Paul or Josh later on, in all honesty, that's what it's all about, is taking everybody's experiences and everybody's life stories, and putting them together. And just like we're sitting here, Cedric, you're on a computer, but it's like we're sitting here on the couch, BSing and having a good time and talking about hunting stories and learning as we go. But on the flip side of it, with the Bowmen podcast itself, like we are trying to grow and we are trying to see new things. And Paul brought it up already, but I do personally want to say thanks to Buzzard Roost Saddles, great American company down in Louisiana. Those Southern boys, they're a little crazy and wild, but they do some fun things. And so maybe we'll have to take a Bowman podcast trip down there someday. Yeah. But yeah, so if you haven't checked out Buzzard Roost Saddles, get on Instagram, Facebook, check them out. They're fully adjustable, some of the best saddles out there. So, we love that they support us and thank them. And then obviously we all shoot these prime bows, and thank Romano Outdoors for that. He was saying earlier, you need to check them out, but you need to go to Romano Outdoors in Culpeper, Virginia to check them out, get a hold of them online. I know my wife, we were shooting today, and Justin said, you guys would all laugh because she's trying to learn to shoot. And I'm like, I tell her, well, you got to get a better group than that before I can adjust your sight to help you. I don't know what to do. Just keep shooting. And Paul gets there and he's like, oh my gosh, Troy, like, no, like, give me that. Like, so she already told me to thank you again, because she loved, she loved it today, and just the little tips you could give her and the tricks and the wealth of knowledge, that you have. She was very happy when you left today. So yeah, I'm just excited to see where this can go and what we can grow into, and the years to come. So the adventures, I got a feeling, are going to get bigger and better, and it's going to be fun.
Yeah, we got a lot more stuff coming down the pipe here from Josh with Triple Point and the Clovis, and he leaked out there a little bit. The Cut Plus coming in the spring for next hunting season, which has been successful so far, proven. And I know he's got a lot of stuff over there in a little box with a label on it that says highly confident. These are for no one to see. Kind of like the sticker that came on these bows a week ago that I got that said, "Don't be that guy.
Don't be that guy.
Save it for this day."
Yeah.
Yes, no problem. We got it. But no, it's been a great adventure, and I know it's only it's a week before Thanksgiving, right? So it's nice to take a little bit of time and say thanks to all these great people, and ourselves on here and our families that allow us to do these things. And by no means are we, Prime doesn't sponsor us, Troy, Josh doesn't sponsor us. Like Buzzard Roost is helping us out a little bit and doing great things for us. Cedric down there is Prime Pro and works for them, and amongst other things, marsupial gear and Stan, and like the list goes on, and there's his resume right there. But
the thing comes out in like a couple days.
Yeah, none of us, even Cedric included, for the amount that he did when we started off, like, no offense, like Cedric was a nobody too. I mean, like, we're just a bunch of guys that
I still am. Am.
That's my MO, and people get mad when I say it. We're just a bunch of nobodies that we love what we do. We're passionate about it. And, you know, we have the luck of what we have going on. We have great families that support us. And so we want to take some time and just spread those thanks and say thank you to everyone out there. And the end of the year is going to be great. You know, we launched the Newfoundland video up on YouTube, so you can see the moose hunt and part of the bear hunt on there. You know, special thanks to Hunt Tech Pro for putting that together. They did a great job editing that. And, you know, Josh had some great footage on there as well that really helped out. So we're hoping to get some more of that put together. And, you know, kind of what's leading into next year for us is, well, I think you're going to see a lot more of that from the Bowmen put together, is some more collaborative video, short film, stuff like that we could put together, put out there that promotes all of us, but just shows the good time that we're having along with the podcast as well. So, you know, the podcasts are going to stay real. There'll still be some interviews. There'll still be some off the cuff conversations, and, you know, which everyone loves, and we'll have some great people on. But I think that's kind of the next step that I'd like to see for all of us go through, is see if we can, you know, set a goal of a certain amount of collaborative videos and see if we can reach that, you know, throughout the end of the year from what we got this year, and, you know, through turkey season and into next year.
Damn.
So
Yeah, I'm not hunting turkeys.
It's so annoying.
Damn birds are frustrating.
well, we have
I take that as a challenge now.
Yeah.
we have a fall season in Virginia, and me and my son were hunting the other morning, and all of a sudden we hear burp, 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 burp. I'm like, what the? I'm like, no way. And then here comes 3 toms off the hill. I'm like, get ready. He's like, why? I'm like, it's almost Thanksgiving. We need a tom. And they came in, and then they like, we have a bunch of laurels where we are on like the side of the hill, and they just kind of were weaving in and out of the laurels, and we had the crossbow at the time. He couldn't get the crossbow on them, and they just kind of went away. And now my son is like, every time we go in the shop, he's like, Dad, he's like, bring the turkey call. We're going hunting. So we're gonna we'll venture into that a little bit more. Turkey hunting's fun. It is fun. If you haven't done it, it's frustrating as hell, but it's fun.
One of my favorite things in the world to do. I mean, the turkey
hunting, so.
Well, I have once, just not successfully, so we'll have to fix that. But man, yeah, I've got, trying to talk too loud because Josie's here, but I'm putting together quite the schedule for turkey season this spring. So we'll have to, yeah. So maybe we'll try to get some hunts in together.
There you go.
That's cool. Fun.
Yeah. Well, awesome, guys. Well, I appreciate taking the time out here on this Tuesday evening. I know, Cedric, you just got back. Troy, you had to put the kids to bed and run over. I appreciate that. And my wife's probably sitting there going, where the hell have you been all day? I haven't heard from you. But, you know, thank you to Josh and his family for having us out here and putting us up. And everything's been fantastic. And hopefully we can have a story next podcast about one that we kill tomorrow. So we'll see.
Give it a shot. Yeah.
We'll see. Maybe the RevX will be singing, or the RVX. I'm sorry, I keep calling it the RevX. We'll be singing in the morning, so we'll see. See what happens.